What is going on, folks? Welcome to another YouTube video where I will be showing you how I make my combination fried rice. So of course what we have to start off with is the rice. I'm using 5 cups. I think I did way too much rice, so you can either do 3, 4, you can possibly get away with 3. But what you do want to make sure is that you rinse your rice. I said it before, I'll say it again. Make sure you rinse your rice before you cook it. You want to get rid of this excess starch. You see how cloudy the water is right now? That's excess starch. Just make sure you go ahead and rinse it as well as you can. Do it as many times as you can until the water almost runs clear. I'm gonna massage the rice all around the water just so we can get it cleaned up. You might end up doing this 3, maybe 4 times, depends on how well you strain it and whatnot, but just make sure the water runs almost clear. We're gonna go ahead and go over here to the stove. We're gonna use exactly that, 5 cups of water. I personally like to season my rice with just a little bit of salt, maybe some oil, but for what we're using today, we don't need to. Just give it a little stir around real quick. Make sure that's all level. Give it a little taste, see if it's missing any seasoning. I needed to put a little bit more salt just because I like my rice pretty salty. Once it comes to a boil, just go ahead and give it another little mix just to make sure that nothing sticks on the bottom. And then we're gonna go ahead and cover it with a lid. Just going ahead and keep it all level and let it get to a boil. Once it gets to this boil, go ahead and put the lid on. After a couple of minutes, we're gonna take the lid off. We're gonna fluff it up with a fork. This is what I do when I cook rice. A lot of people say don't stir the rice, blah blah blah, etc. this, etc. That's how I do my rice. That's how I'm gonna do it. So here you see those brown bits on the rice is because it's stuck to the bottom. I personally don't mind them, actually. I like that crispy bottom. That's not what we were intending to do, but it doesn't bother me. Once you have it all tight, just go ahead and put it in the fridge just to cool it down a little bit. And now we're gonna go ahead and cut up some of our protein. We got chicken thighs, boneless pork loins, and we got steak, or beef actually. So with the chicken, we're gonna go ahead and just trim off some of the excess fat just because we don't need it. If I was doing fried chicken, I wouldn't take as much fat off, but since we're doing fried rice, we're definitely gonna try and clean it up as much as we can. You can dice it up and make them more even cuts, but I don't like that. I don't think it looks very homemade. I think it's more like, oh, machine cut these up. So we're just gonna go ahead and chop it up, leave some big pieces, some small pieces. The same we're gonna do with the pork. Just make sure that you cut it to whatever size you want. I usually do it like this just in case I'm tired of eating the rice. I can just pick out the chicken or the steak. I promise you that we made too much meat. There's gonna be a lot of meat in this fried rice. Again, we're gonna be doing the same thing with the pork. Just make sure that you choose lean types of meat, just because since we're not gonna be using the fat as to where we were doing just a steak or even the chicken. If you were to fry it up, just make sure you use some decently lean types of meat. The steak, we're not gonna cut it up because it comes in these strips. This is for fajitas. So we're all gonna do what we are going to do. We're gonna go ahead and put it in a bowl, season it with enough salt, go ahead and mix it all up and let it sit for a little bit just to make sure that salt penetrates the meat. And I'm not really worried about all it being in the same bowl because it's all gonna be in the same plate as well. But yes, no worries. I don't care about cross-contamination right now. So here we got a cast iron. We're gonna put a bit of avocado oil just to make sure we get a nice little sear on this meat. Once it heats up, we're just gonna go ahead and throw the meat in there. We gotta do it by batches. Again, like I said, there is a lot of meat. Just do it by batches. Here's the first batch. Just make sure it sears. Make sure you have it on medium-high heat, and there's enough oil to coat the bottom. After a little bit, we're just gonna stir it up. If you want to, you can individually just place them and, sear them. I just want it to be cooked quicker, to be honest. I'm hungry at this point. I'm getting kind of hungry just voicing this video over, so yes. Just go ahead and sear them, just have some variants in there. Once those are cooked, go ahead and move them to another bowl. And we're gonna do the same thing with the second batch. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do with those stuck bits on the pan as well. They call that as a fond. A lot of people do tend to just clean it. I personally think that's flavor. I'm not gonna throw it away. I'm just gonna put some more meat around it, on top of it actually. And then gonna add some more oil just to make sure that we cook it and sear it. So like I was saying, at the bottom of the pan is this fond. I personally am not gonna lose that. We're just gonna go ahead and throw some water, make sure it releases from the bottom. We're gonna stir it up, so you're gonna scrape it up with a wooden spoon preferably. You never wanna use a metal spoon on cast irons. You don't wanna use metal on metal. You let it evaporate for a little bit, and then we're gonna start just going ahead and using the wooden spoon. And you can use this on the fried rice. That's what I'm gonna be doing. So just go ahead and wrap this up. I hope you like the flower pot that I got. I think it's cute, but don't judge me, please. So once we have it here, just gonna go ahead and cook up some eggs. Make sure you throw an eggshell in there. No, I'm kidding. Just make sure you take it out. I got this. Whose idea was it for me to make a cooking show? Oh yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and make some scrambled eggs. You know, this would not be a combination fried rice without the eggs. Once they're all cooked, just make sure you put them separately into a bowl. And we're all doing this in the same pot because I don't like doing dishes. But so anyways, we're gonna cut us up some garlic, onions, broccoli, and baby carrots, and some scallions. I use baby carrots just because it's easier. I don't have to be peeling them as much. Just go ahead and mince up some garlic and some scallions to start off. Now these don't have to be thin. I actually like to cook them. I like to cut them a little bigger. I want to say maybe an inch, just because this is what we're gonna be frying up first. We're gonna double onion this, is what they call it. But just make sure you go ahead and dice the onion. You want to keep these separately because they're going to go in separately, of course. The carrots and the scallions are going to be going in first with some oil. Saute that for a little bit. Make sure the garlic releases all its fragrance, its flavor. This is you versus the guy she tells you not to worry about, huh? So yeah, that's how it is to live with kids while you're trying to make videos. So after that, we're gonna go ahead and cut us up some broccoli. Usually if you do takeout or anything like that, I don't think it'll have broccoli. I've seen very little places that do have it. But I want you to keep in mind that whatever vegetables that you decide to use other than tomatoes and stuff like that, if you have onions, garlic, you know, the usual type of stuff, then you can just go ahead and use that. So we're gonna go ahead and put the garlic and the scallions with some oil into the pan. I'm gonna saute that for a little bit. Next, after that, go the carrots. Same as well, saute. Make sure you hear the sizzle a little bit, just because you want them to cook a little. You don't want them to have that crunch, which I personally like, but not for fried rice. After that, we throw in the onions. Now, by this time, your kitchen should be smelling amazing. I remember the smell of this. It smells really, really, really good. Something about onions and garlic cooking is amazing to me. I love the smell. After you put in the broccoli, you're going to cover it for a little bit. Make sure it steams. And then you're going to put in the meat. Mix that all up so it can get together with all the juices from the meat. Remember that fond that we used? That's exactly where it is. Saute it again a little bit. Just gonna make sure that the broccoli is cooked. And then after that, you're gonna throw in your rice. Again, like I said, I feel like I used too much rice to the point that I couldn't even fit it all in the pan. You could also possibly do less meat if you want, but come on, who wants to do less meat? Nobody. After you put in the rice with some gloves, realize that the gloves are just sticking with the rice. Then just take them off and do it by hand. Mix it as well as you can. We're gonna add some sesame oil. We're gonna add some soy sauce. And you can use salt if you would like, but just to make it a little bit more authentic, I like to use fish sauce. Now it's really good, it's really salty sauce. It's pretty good actually. Doesn't have the most amazing smell, I can tell you that, but it tastes amazing. We haven't used any black pepper in this, so we're gonna go ahead and grind us up some black pepper, throw that in there. And then just mix it all up again, let it cook for a little bit longer, and then your fried rice should be done. So I went ahead and used some salt, just because if I keep adding any more fish sauce, I'm gonna have to wait for it to reduce. Again, you don't want this to be a super wet dish or anything like that, but you do want it to be seasoned enough. So I just went ahead and added some salt to it. All I'm using is some sea salt.
What? I heard you.
Now make sure you don't forget the eggs. I almost did, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, just make sure you don't forget the eggs. The eggs actually add a pretty good amount of flavor, and
Jesus Christ.
it's in every fried rice that I've ever had.
It's a good thing I can voice over these videos. If not,
I hope you enjoyed how a 26-year-old man is arguing with a 3-year-old. But yes, here comes the most labor-intensive part of the day, in my opinion. I enjoy cooking. What I don't like is washing the dishes. But anyways, here's a clip for y'all to enjoy, just in case y'all want to make fun of me. And then you're just gonna dice up some scallions just to use as a garnish. Now we're just gonna go ahead and plate it all up. Here we got the rice, of course, steaming, of course. It has to be fresh out of the pot. If not, I don't want it. Just make sure you plate it as nice as you can, just because it'll look better on camera. So we're just gonna go ahead and put in the scallions. I'm gonna also use some white sesame seeds. And now some black sesame seeds. Now tell me if that does not look amazing. If you followed every step I've done so far, you'll end up with some possibly good stuff. So this is the end result, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Now if you want to watch me eat, take a look. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, sorry for not looking very presentable. I'm just in my house, so this stuff tastes amazing, y'all. I'm telling you, if you do not know how to make fried rice, just go ahead and follow this recipe and you'll be extremely close. Anyways, thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a great day. Take care.